understand this. The way that I spit it like putting strokes on the canvas. Taking notes of all the urban cries. Put it down, materialize, then watch as the paint dries. Better bet the ink, cause every time I think it's time to keep it flow while these other cats sing. No Titanic, too over dramatic. I feel like new edition in the brain now. Tell me, can you stand it? With each word I'm building me a steeple. And if you open my works up, there you'll find my cathedral. You got your wood stains, a little glass paint, but it all tell a story, man. Think that it came where I come from. It's deer hunters and street guns. So I spray these words like the Uzi weighs a ton. It's that heavy. I'm pouring this out from my heart to give you the truth the way that you see is art. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't the truth. And everything that spit is just like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's hard work. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life's hard work. My prescription, better yet my mission is to visualize and give the world vision. Work to heal the streets with a little audio heat. And smooth it all out over laid back beats. A to the R to the T, Wisco flow. Like you're in a gallery and see a Picasso. But this ain't Picasso, baby. Even though it's like Jay, cause it's gonna drive the world crazy. This is for those admiring and looking. I heat it up for Instagram and Pinterest cooking. It's so acrylic every time that I spit it. My foliage show that I all get it. Speaking of, this art get wows and awes. Like a masterpiece that's up in the halls. Everything is so realistic, but better yet, man, yo, it's so artistic. Cause now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that spit is just like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And everything that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. My glaze hand bring the pick on home. I'm just an artiste in the Midwest zone. Now it's a lot of cats that paint, but they ain't making art. Cause they be lying from the very start. So I make it a point that I paint what I feel. Cause I know deep inside what I feel is all real. And this exhibit don't end till I say so. Sincerely yours, Michael Tangelo. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And the way that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke. And the way that it spit is like a brush stroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is hard work. It's all hard work, baby. Welcome to my masterpiece, theater. Now you can go on and get a bootleg of it if you need to, you know what I'm saying? You can hang it on your wall, you don't even need a frame. Yo, this life is hard work.
for the throne and the kingdom. The king's here, yelling freedom. Do or die, do it now if you believe it. You reap what you sow every season. You kill what you eat when you feasting. It's death before the sign and no treason. No, in a time of war, no retreat. Never lay down and die on my feet. I lift the reaper in his eyes and won't blink. I'm the voice every time that I speak. It's like thunder when it strikes. I'm the king. I'm the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. I am the king. I am supreme. I am. I'm the king. You gotta keep going when you in the field. Can't lose heart when it gets real. Always push back, can't lose ground. Always stand up, never back down. Victory is key, victory is yours. Through the blood, sweat and tears coming out your pores. Through the tears and the pain cause you want more. Grind time, do it all until it pays off. I'm in a league of my own. I'm a king and I'm bad to the bone. Heavy in the game, made for the throne. I'm out of this world, I'm in my zone. I'm the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. I am the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. Like a frog. I'm the king. I am. I am. I am. I am the king. Yeah, yeah, I am king.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Please let me know if you can hear me because I'm over here doing all kind of stuff. Welcome back. We are the Real Bravado Network, and I am TJ, your facilitator for today's journey. And today we are celebrating Black History our way. It is not going to be what you think. I promise you that. That's right. I know some of y'all were a little bit confused because, wait a minute, is that church music? Is that church music? It was absolutely church music. Because when we get going, we're going to talk about church this morning. And then we got a few other things that we're going to be talking about as well, other than church, with Black history. But first, let me just start off by saying this. Over here at the Real Bravado Network, we address issues that keep Black folk from being together, and we do not attack the person. We attack the issue unless the person becomes the issue. All right, everybody, thank you for today's live stream. I'm over here struggling a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Before we get going, because I didn't get a chance to do it, let's do it.
Acknowledge me.
All right, acknowledge the Real Bravado Network, acknowledge the chat, acknowledge those who support, and obviously we gotta acknowledge those that donate.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right, shout out to the good brother Eric Jordan for becoming a channel member. I think he was a member once before, but I think he probably renewed his channel membership over there. And then also thank you for yeah, let's get it going again. Thank you for the double nickel. I appreciate it. I'm over here a little bit. I really never do this. Let's check in to see who's here. Of course, we got the good sister Take Heed to the message in the building. Thank you, Take Heed, for stopping in over here. And let's see, Corey Joe talking about hit the like button. I got my computer over here and it ain't doing so good, so I don't know where we're at. But our trust, hit the like button. I got a lot of ninja. I don't know. I got a lot of people watching they be watching, don't comment, and be skimping me on the likes almost until the end of my stream. Come on now, help a brother out. But I appreciate those that are here and those that are rocking with us over here today. Also, this bounce. All right, who else do we got in the building? Let's see, we got Take Heed in the building. We got Mr. Blaze in the building. Thank you, sir, for being here. And we also got JT in the building, No News Podcast. Is that JT? Yeah. In the building. Thank you, brother, for joining us over here. We got Lola Suggs in the building. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, and then we got KP. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Dropping through. Okay, so I say this every stream, and I hope I can hold fast to this. I ain't trying to be here all night, even though this is a Black History stream. We're gonna be talking about some shit. We started off with some church, a little bit about church. Let me tell you guys something. You know, my first recollection of really anything related to Black history was actually Black history programs in the church. You know, every year, you know, Black in February for, you know, in church, it was a big deal. It's kind of like revival almost, you know, anytime my first real, you know, introduction that I can remember from my earliest days, I can remember of anything knowing about that there was a thing called Black history was in the church. There was always always a huge program growing up in my church related to Black history. And of course, there was and believe it or not, most of the Black history program was kid focused. So there was a lot of skits and poems, and you know, this is what, you know, my first interaction to like Langston Hughes, and of course, somebody always did the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. There was very rarely did we hear anything about Malcolm. We got Nugget Elvers. Obviously, Rosa Parks was always a huge part of the Black history programs and stuff like that. So for me, I don't know for you guys, but for me, church was my first real foray into this whole concept of Black history or Black History Month. Now, what I do remember a little bit was I do remember that, you know, when I was a kid or in elementary school, that there was a lot of I heard a lot of talk around the adults about the fact that Black history wasn't a big thing around the country. You know what I mean? So, you know, I heard a lot about stuff like that. I vaguely remember like seeing Jesse Jackson on TV talking about Black history and stuff like that. So Black History Month is for me has kind of evolved over the years to mean different stuff for me. And then also, when you think about Black history and what it was intended for, Black History Month, what it was intended for to celebrate the contributions that Blacks provided to the development of the United States. That's what it was for. It was for to acknowledge a marginalized group and to honor our contributions to what is now we know the United States of America. But as an adult, I mean, and I think by and large, you really couldn't do a lot of that without the church. And a lot of quote unquote Black history was taught within the church, and a lot of times not necessarily in the school system. And so when we did have Black History Month, I think in the school, it was Martin Luther King, it was Rosa Parks, it was who's the Peanut Man? Who was the Peanut Man? Was that George Washington Carver? Who was the Peanut Man? I forget. Somebody got to tell me who the Peanut Man was. The man who entered the peanut. Was it George Washington Carver? It wasn't. No, it wasn't no Frederick Douglass. It was. I think my mind is drawing a blank of me. And then you hear some stuff about Frederick Douglass. Oh, we can't talk. Obviously we did a whole lot about the Underground Railroad. You know, you heard a lot about that. We covered that in school and stuff like that. But the bulk of your education, your knowledge, actually came from the church. Now, the church for Black folk has, today, when I think about the church is kind of a conundrum for me, because George Washington Carver. Okay, thank you, Blaze. That's what I That's what I thought the Peanut Man was. So I really appreciate you for confirming that. The church for Black people was where a lot of information was spread, and there was a lot of education, a lot of teaching that was done in the church, in the confines of the church. So we're going to take a few minutes today, right at the beginning, and we're going to talk a little bit about the church. We're going to talk about some of the things that were good about the church, the purpose of the church, and then we're going to talk about some things in history that the church itself was a part of that they don't necessarily get, I don't want to use the word credit, but they don't necessarily get mentioned when we talk about some of the things, especially on the political side of stuff, where the church fell on that didn't necessarily, that they don't get the pushback that others get for some of the things that they actually did. Okay, so let me start off by saying this. So the Black church in the United States have been a cornerstone for Black culture since we got here. The influence, when I mean got here, I mean since we landed in this bad boy, in this country. The influence of the Black church, to a degree, it's a little bit beyond just the spiritual. It also played a huge role in shaping what the family dynamic would look like. Also, the church, believe it or not, for a lot of you who are into music, the church was very instrumental in a huge influence in music. Some of our most popular pop artists came out of the church, like Whitney Houston, the Leverts, a lot of the old time, 70s, 60s and 70s Motown people, they all came out of the church and from a church background, and we're not even, and not to mention that the church was also involved in a lot of political activism. And so the role of the church was really multifaceted for Black people. It was integral into just into socialization. I mean, a lot of times the only time you got a really chance to socialize for a lot of time or was within the confines of the church, especially when you're talking about from the 1940s through the 70s. Most of the camaraderie that happened, most of the community, what we consider community development and community integration happened through oftentimes the church. So the Black church is very fundamental to Black folk, especially believe it or not, during with political movements. The church was also involved in that. If it wasn't for the church, I don't know how successful the civil rights era would be if it wasn't for the church. So the Black church is just, and let me tell you something. When I say the Black church isn't just a single denomination, and I'm going to play a video. They're going to talk about that a little bit, but the Black church, has various denominations, from Episcopalian, AME, Methodist, Pentecostal, Baptist. We run the gamut, of denominations under that we fly under the Christian flag. The church has also been, for a lot of Blacks, it's been a place of refuge. I mentioned the fact that it was a place of education, and I mentioned it was a place for personal rebuilding. I ain't trying to pick on the ladies right now, but listen, where do Black women run to after a bad breakup? After they've been dragged through the mud by Pookie, where do you think they go? They always run back to the church. So the church is, a place our people find to be a place of healing and rebuilding, and also finding a new purpose at times. And then it's not just the ladies, but the guys too, finding purpose. Once upon a time, if a man wanted to find a wife, he found her in the church. But we all know now, church full of hoes. Church full of them, full of hoes. So I don't think there was a time that they weren't full of hoes, but I'm just saying. But oftentimes when the man really wanted to find a decent and in order wife, he went to the church. So the church, was very, instrumental in shaping the Black experience in this country, and that really can't be overly stated. And and influencing family and stuff like that, and justice. But here's what I want to do. I want to play a little bit of about the history of the Black church. So you guys just bear with me. And I know you guys don't like it when I do the educational streams and stuff like that. Trust and believe. We're going to get to some nonsense today because we got to talk about some stuff that's happened during Black History Month. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about a 5-year-old girl. I mean, well, not the 5-year-old girl. We're going to talk about as Michelle like to call her, a good mama. We're going to talk about a good mama. I haven't seen a lot of content being made about this story, so I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about the bombing that the police department of Philadelphia did. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a little bit more about this crap between Monique and her son, and she talking about fuck her son. We're going to talk about that. So we got some stuff that we going to get to, okay? So just bear with me while we get through a little bit of this Black history stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit about the history of the church.
Portuguese ship called the White Lion.
Let me rewind.
Africans arrive on a Portuguese ship called the White Lion in Jamestown, Virginia in August of 1619. And it is generally accepted that this was the beginning date for what would be 246 years of chattel slavery in America. The historical record reads that the ship arrived with, quote, 20 some odd number Negroes, unquote, mostly from the Central African Angola region. They were brought to do the back-breaking work of raising commercial crops like tobacco and cotton and sugar cane in the new colonies. About 12.5 million Africans were shipped to the Americas during what is called the transatlantic slave trade. Almost 11 million survived the Middle Passage, and a little over 500,000 came to what we presently call the United States. Now, all European nations involved in the slave trade were Christian, and early on, some questioned as to whether or not they should evangelize the slave population. In North American British colonies, it was seen as problematic to baptize Africans. What if they equated salvation of their souls with freedom of their bodies? Early on, enslaved Africans held on to the remnants of traditional African spiritual beliefs and often met in spirited meetings in the evenings in small groups. And they kept whatever rituals and religions that they could remember as they produced the next generations of families from this blend of African peoples perpetually enslaved. And so these meetings were referred to by historians as hush-harbored gatherings, religious meetings. They were known to gather near streams or waters or harbors which felt familiar, and they longed to return to a home that was now far away. This was the genesis of the spiritual search of an enslaved people looking for the presence of divinity in a strange and sorrowful land.
So for me, that was a interesting snippet of the history of us, and I often think about, are we squandering what was sacrificed for us? I often wonder that. I mean, I think it's easy to say yes. If you look at the state of the Black family right now, it's easy to say that when you look at the state of the Black church right now. The fact of the matter is somewhere around 70% of the churchgoers are female. So the men are no longer in the church. The men are no longer in the church to a degree that we're seeing all of these women pop up and call themselves preachers. You got women running to women preachers, even though the Bible specifically talks about the fact that women cannot preach, cannot teach, cannot have authority over a man. The Bible specifically says that. And then when you confront these ladies, these so-called preacher ladies, with the very verses that expressly forbid them to do that, they just ignore it as if that didn't happen. But instead of asking the question and asking the hard truth about why in the hell did men leave the church at the rate that they left the church? I mean, it's like, if you look at T.D. Jakes' church, which, old fruit booty himself, you look at T.D. Jakes' church, it's full of women. Very few men are up in there. And especially, and then he found out the hard way when he had the nerve some point last year to sit down and talk about, to tell the ladies about their attitude towards the men that they're meeting and dating and marrying. Or I shouldn't say marrying, because black women ain't marrying a goddamn body. And neither are black men, by the way. We're not getting married. So it's kind of funny to sit up here and have these marriage conversations when ain't nobody fucking getting married. And if you sit there and talk about, when we talk about that, only when you just combine 30% of black folk are married, 30%. And let me tell you something, of that 30%, the largest group that are married in that group, they're going to be dying off in the next 10 years. Nobody's getting married. Nobody's having families. Everything is just willy-nilly. And this is all, and with the church being such a profound impact on the black existence. How is the church out here not leading the charge on putting these families back together? Well, here's the thing. With 70% of your revenue in your church is coming from the women, and the women are basically, most of them are dishonorable women, disobedient, uncooperative. How do you go against your revenue base? How do you go against your revenue base? Placating to our women is big business. It's big business. But last week, remember, I talked about integrity. Skinny Boy says, we got female pastors with BB. Goddamn. He said, Skinny Boy said, we got female pastors walking around with BBLs. God damn. Oh, Lord have mercy. I refuse to recognize a woman as a pastor. I will never do that. I will never do that. Headship is not granted to the woman at all. But the church has been profound, have had a profound impact and influence on our culture, and the absence of that influence is being felt. In 1960, 80% of black people were married. We were the highest marital group in the country. We had more intact families than anybody else, and we were the lowest paid suckers out there. Our men were out there dying and fighting for freedoms, justices, affirmative action, all this crap that our women got a chance to take a hold of, and we had 80%. But entitlement programs, feminism, and in just a second here, we're going to talk about the crack cocaine epidemic. Now, the black church, it traces roots back to the South, and despite, the fact that Christianity at times were used to oppress us or to justify slavery, blacks we formed our own congregations. We put our own spin on spirituality and tradition. We came up with our own traditions, our own belief systems. All of this happened through the catalyst of the church. You could almost say economic success happened through the church. And when you talk about the Great Migration, and some of the stuff I'm talking about, you guys are going to have to go back and research. I ain't even going to go through all this shit. But through the Great Migration, blacks, fled the South into, they came up north. We're talking about Chicago, Detroit, Ohio. They went to the Northeast. We're talking about Chicago, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., which is known as Chocolate City, and churches spread up all over the place. You didn't have a black community without a church. Some of the legends of our entertainment industry, Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke, all came out of church. The church also was the moral authority of black folk. It was the barometer. And why is that? Because men of integrity at the time ran the church. And not only did men of integrity at the time run the church, but our culture had literally black families intact. Our women picked men based on their ability, based on character, their ability to take care of a family. Our women picked men differently. Men vetted other men for the women of their family. If a woman, my grandfather talks about this all the time. When he was dating my grandmother, they were going out after about 2 or 3 days. She was like, "You gotta come home. My you picking me up. My daddy want to see you. My brothers want to see you. They want to talk to you. They want to vetting." And there was a time, because we didn't have people don't understand. There was a time in this country where there was no child support, there was no Section 8, there was no WIC, there was none of that crap. So literally a woman would leave, she would stay under her father's care until a suitable male came along. And the father, that's the whole term of giving away the bride came from. The father literally gave her to that man to now take care of. And usually the father vetted the man for stuff like that. Now our women do their own vetting, and we see what the fuck they come up with. Now look, by the 1980s, the black church faced, they had a whole nother problem that came in, because in the 70s, heroin came in through the East. And then in the late 70s into the early 80s, crack cocaine came in through the West. And then a crack cocaine epidemic took over like a out of control raging forest fires. If you are born between 1975 and 1989, you are a fucking crack baby, or you from the crack baby generation. Let's take a look at that.
It's cheap, ready to use, and easy to make money off of. But the impact crack had on the United States in the 70s and 80s was devastating.
It's called both rock and crack, but no matter what you call it, it is nearly pure cocaine and it can kill.
The DEA says it was impossible to turn on the evening news without seeing its effects. But how did this start? The epidemic of a drug that seemed to fall out of the sky? Well, it didn't. The United States Drug Enforcement Agency starts the story during the 1980s, when international drug trafficking organizations grew more powerful. The cocaine trade dominated the Western Hemisphere, and the drug hit the U.S. the strongest in 1985. By 1989, the DEA called the epidemic the most important issue in the country. Violence skyrocketed, and cocaine-related ER visits increased by 28 times in just 4 years.
I do coke so I can work longer, so I can earn more, so I can do more coke.
It got to a point where there was too much product on the streets, driving prices way down. So drug dealers had to come up with something to keep money flowing. They converted it to crack, or smokable cocaine. And now it could be sold in smaller quantities to more people. But the low price of crack made it easily accessible to lower income, typically black, neighborhoods. The Foundation for a Drug-Free World gives us a timeline to show just how quickly things escalated. In 1985, the number of people who admitted to using the drug in some form regularly grew by more than 1 million. That same year, the National Narcotics Intelligence Consumers Committee reported more than 9,000 people took ER visits for cocaine-related emergencies in the U.S. In just 1 year, that number jumped to almost 14,000. The epidemic made way for a generation of crack babies, and millions of government dollars going into policing the problem. Strategies ranged from targeting its points of entry.
You know what's really sad right now is the crackheads that survived, because a lot of them died off. It's sad when I go back to my hometown and like a lot of these crackheads back then, they were like in their late 20s and 30s and stuff like that. Now these motherfuckers are in their 60s and they're still, some of them out there strung out after all. Like crack is like literally like it's like when you meet a crackhead, you be like, you still doing that? I don't even know how they're making money off of it anymore. I'm like, I thought we shook that shit a long time ago. But you be surprised.
Into the country, an increase in local cocaine enforcement teams, and randomly testing people at their jobs for illegal drugs. By 1989, the DEA had so many employees it had to relocate to Virginia for more space. So what came of the epidemic? Encyclopedia Britannica says it increased court caseloads and prison populations. The focus was on small-time drug dealers who were generally young black men from inner cities. A person could get a minimum penalty of 5 years behind bars for 5 grams of crack. But somehow, the same sentence qualified for 500 grams of cocaine. The result? Encyclopedia Britannica says the arrests of drug dealers and their customers contributed to the prison population doubling. 1 in every 4 black men ages 20 to 29 were either incarcerated on probation or...
That stat came out in 1996. That is no longer the case. That is no longer so far. It's, believe it or not, from a percentage standpoint, it's less than 2% of black men are locked up now. I mean, for real, like there's been a huge reduction, and that thanks to my generation and stuff like that. And then our kids, there's a huge decline. And also the decriminalization of a lot of drugs helped that as well. But, you know, we still, even though it's not 1 out of every 5, we still, from a representation standpoint, are still overly represented in the criminal justice system. But we're not locked up at the rate that we used to be, nowhere near it. So when our women are out here talking about, oh, our good men are locked up. First of all, if your ass is locked up, how good are you? I'm just saying.
were on parole by 1989. By 1995, it was 1 in 3. Let that sink in. 1/3 of all black men were in jail. So it would make sense. The United States had and still has the highest incarceration rate in the world. The country is still fighting side effects from the crack epidemic today. The government said tough laws were supposed to crush the epidemic, but the crisis also ended up crushing black communities and the families in them.
Yes. So let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you. During the height of the crack epidemic in this country, violent crime in this country, not in this country, violent crime in quote unquote black neighborhoods or urban cities it was a literal war zone. It was like every major city or secondary city was like what we think Chicago is now. It was a fucking war zone out here. Innocent people getting killed and murdered and drive-bys, little kids getting killed. Oh my God. It was awful. I know I'm in middle school knowing kids who got gunned down. And I grew up in a town with only 80,000 people. It was a shame how violent that town was with under 100,000 people. Everybody knew everybody. And when somebody got killed, everybody knew who did it. And everybody knew the person who was killed. It was insane. I'll never forget a day I was, the house I grew up in was right next to an alley. And the kitchen looked over the alley. So I was washing dishes one evening after, we done ate and all that good stuff. And I'm sitting there washing dishes, and all of a sudden I see, one dude chasing another dude down in the alley shooting after him. That was some wild stuff. Bang, 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 bang. Now, let me tell you guys something about what the Black church did, who do not get any real mention about what the government's response was to all of those issues during that time. It got to the point where in 1994, 93, 94, 95, there was this, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was a teenager, but I understood there was a national outcry to do something about the violence surrounding crack cocaine. And do you know who was at the forefront of crying out loud for help? Guess who was crying out loud for help to the government? The Black church. Black preachers from every Black denomination, big and small, were writing letters to their local and national leaders about doing something to help with curbing the crime. On a side note, Black people, every time we ask the government to come in and fix our shit, they'll come in and fix it, but you ain't gonna like how they fix it. The crack cocaine epidemic in the 80s, rolling through the mid-90s, and the Black church was the main ones on the forefront of urging Congress, state, local, and federal governments to do something. And they did. And they did. The 1996 crime bill. Black churches all across the country, including the church I went to, supported the 1996 crime bill. And the hopes was that it would lead to safer communities. What they were doing was hoping that they could get these quote-unquote rogue Negroes off the streets, out of their community, and make it safer. But what they did not anticipate was the unintended consequence. The unintended consequence of going out and asking the good old government, good old Zaddy, to help. If Black people haven't learned anything, they should have learned well from the 1996 crime bill. If there's a problem in Black America, the last person you want to come in to help you is Zaddy. Because what they will do, what they will offer, will have generational unintended consequences. And normally, and so let me explain something to you. Some of you guys need to go back and look at what happened with the Irish when they came into this country, and they were having very similar problems. Go back and look at the Italians when they came into this country. What they were having very similar problems. Go back and look at the little hat community and what they had when they came into this country. And let me tell you something. When there was problems, when there was wholesale systemic problems within those various communities, they did not go to the government to solve and fix their problems because they understood that the government was not their friend. Black folk ain't learned that since slavery. We still think that there are good old white people out here. Now, there might be some good white people here and there. I'm talking about generally speaking and from an institution standpoint. Black folk, we have the tools to fix our own goddamn problems. We have the tools to fix the fact that only 30% of Black people are married. We got tools to fix the fact that the vast majority of our women are baby mamas. We got tools to fix the fact that our young men are out here 14, 15, 16. I told you last summer, you couldn't watch a news episode in St. Louis without watching 14, 15-year-old boys at 2 o'clock in the morning walking up and down the street in downtown St. Louis with fucking assault rifles. We can fix this shit. We don't need Zaddy to fix it. But do we have the integrity, the fortitude to do so? Do our women, can they set aside their fucking pride to allow happen what needs to happen? Real quick, let me do some thinking real quick. Shout out to Take Heed to the message. The sister sent me a cash app of $5. Thank you, Take Heed, for the support. My good sister in the building. I appreciate. Oh, I gotta give it to you because you sent me a nickel. Where is it at? There you go, Take Heed. Always, I appreciate you. Free labor from jailhouse thanks to the crime bill. Absolutely. Believe it or not, the prison industrial complex put a lot of factory businesses out of business in this country because they have free labor. I remember my cousins and my uncles, they had jobs in the prison and they were making 35 cents an hour, 40 cents an hour, and they were happy to get it, which I didn't understand that for the life of me. They would go to prison, make 40, 50 cents an hour, be happy with that, get their ass out and complain about a $6 an hour job. I could never understand. I never understood that dumb shit. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't understand. I did not understand. Shout out to the experience. What's up, bro? I hope you're still around. Shout out to the experience.
But these last $2.
The experience with the $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. I pray story time with the brother. Thank you. Thank you. You know? One of the things that we do not, when we talk about the 1996 crime bill, we do not talk about just how influential the church was in getting that legislation passed or written. And guess, for those of you who don't know, guess who was the author of the 1996 crime bill? Does anybody want to take a guess at who was the author, the writer, the producer, the creator of the 1996 crime bill? Does anybody know who's the author of the 1996 crime bill? Everybody should know this by now. But I wonder, does anybody, this is Black History Month. We're doing some Black history. We're doing some Black history. Anybody know? Anybody know? Yes. I'm glad you guys are putting it in the chat. Yes. Yes. President Magoo himself. President Joe Biden. Mr. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. That's what your President Joe Biden said. President Joe Biden said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. President Joe Biden, our current president, the one who got, Alzheimer's and can't walk 5 steps without falling down, him. He authored the 1996 crime bill. And who was the president that signed it into law? Do we know the name of the president that signed it into law? Everybody knows this president, and we affectionately call him the first black president. Who's the first black president? If you guys say Barack Obama, you be dead ass wrong. You be dead ass wrong. Somebody take heed. You did not say Reagan. No, Reagan was not known as the first black president. Yeah, some of y'all got it right. 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 That's right. Mr. Saxophone. Not Michonne. Michonne is not the first black president. Messy Michonne, you are not the first goddamn black president now. Bill Clinton. Mr. Arsenio Hall. Mr. Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall. Why am I saying Arsenio Hall? Because that's where black folk got a whiff of Bill Clinton. That's where Bubba, which is what Bill Clinton's nickname is, his nickname Bubba. His name Bubba. Bubba went on the Arsenio Hall show, played the saxophone with the Arsenio Hall band, the dog pound, woo, 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 woo. Everybody got to see Bill Clinton throw on some shades, play a saxophone, and say, what Bill? I feel your pain. I feel your pain. And we anointed this man the first black president. He signed the 1996 crime bill into law. So let's recap, okay? The 1996 crime bill came as a result of the black church screaming bloody murder for Zaddy to do something about our previous gremlins. Zaddy, the church, the leader, the ministers of small and large churches across the country started lobbying their state, local, and national leadership to do something, help them do something about a black problem. The church did that. And in response to that, Senator Joe Biden, who's a dyed-in-the-wool racist, a real-life racist, created and authored the 1996 crime bill. And who signed it into law? The first black president, Bill Clinton. That's some black history for your ass. That's some black history for your ass. Do you want to know who else was in support of the I don't know why we call it the 1996 crime bill, because it was actually passed in 94, but it was signed into law in 96, or went into effect in 96. Do you want to know who else? Do you want to know who else? Do you want to know who else was in lockstep with this fucking crime bill? The church, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton. Do we know there's another entity? There's another entity. There's another fucking entity that was involved in the crime bill. I know you guys ain't get this one. Yes, the church. Who else? There's another black entity that was involved in the crime bill. There's another black entity that was involved in the crime bill. Side note, Michonne, if you're in the chat, I took a clip from your show, and that will be the final word on tonight's stream. I'm just letting you know I did that. Normally email folk and let them know I do stuff like that. But I clipped a Michonne rant, and I'm gonna use that as the final word for tonight's stream, Michonne. So I forgot. I normally would email you and let you know, but I forgot. But no, not Al Sharpton. Good though, not Benjamin. Michonne Benjamin Crump, really? Al Sharpton. No, believe it or not, Al Sharpton was against the crime bill, shockingly. And so was Jesse Jackson, shockingly. Shockingly. The other entity, I shouldn't say the other entity, the entity that convinced Joe Biden to write the fucking crime bill was the Congressional Black Caucus. 24 members. I'm sorry. Let me restate that. 27 black congressional members convinced or was in lockstep with Joe Biden. Kwame Mfume, if I'm not mistaken, was a co-sponsor of the fucking crime bill. Do you want to know who else signed on to that crime bill? Some of these, I'm not going to read all 20 names, but some of these names should sound familiar to you guys. Kwame Mfume from Maryland, who was the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Eva Clayton from North Carolina. William Clay from Missouri, that motherfucker. If you don't know those names, I bet you know John Lewis. I bet you know John Lewis. I bet you know John Lewis from Georgia. I bet you know John Lewis. Oh. If you don't know John Lewis, I bet you know Maxine Waters. I bet you know Maxine Waters. John Lewis, Maxine Waters, Kwame Mfume, Bobby Rush, Louis Stokes of Ohio, Bernice Johnson out of Texas. I know you don't know some of these names, but you know fucking Maxine Waters. You know, Maxine Waters, who came up 2 years ago and said, was it Cardi B was a section? Who's that? Who's the heifer that came up with the song Wet Ass Pussy? What's her name? What's her name? The lady that came up with Wet Ass Pussy. What's her name? Is that Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion? Was Maxine Waters said that chick was a fucking national treasure. John Lewis, Maxine Waters, Kwasi Mfume. These are very popular congressional leaders who all signed on to the fucking crime bill. Cardi B. Somebody, Skinny Boy said Cardi B. Eric said Meg Thee Stallion. Yes, Eric Jordan, the Congressional Black Caucus, yes, all of them. All of them. So while I understand why we got so much smoke for Joe Biden and Bill Clinton about the crime bill, but we also need to have smoke for ourselves, because we asked Zaddy to come in and clean up our fucking mess. And it was spearheaded by the Black church. If you haven't noticed, I'm not making any assertions. After the fucking crime bill and the effects of the crime bill, what happened to the influence of the church? What happened to the men of the church? What happened to the power of the church? What happened to the influence of the culture of the church? Influence of Black culture? What happened to the influence of black families on the church? Every other immigrant group that came into this country, the Irish, the Italians, the little hat people, when they had it in each one of them groups of individuals, especially the fucking Irish, when they came into this country, they had problems within their own community, and not one of them went to the government and asked for help. They fixed that shit. The men of those groups, look, the Irish had a fucking mini civil war in the streets of fucking New York. There's a movie based off of it. Be careful when black folk, when we go out here asking Zaddy to come in and fix our shit. The church, the Black church, and trust me right now, everybody, I'm not jumping up and down on the chest of the church. I'm not knocking the church. The church is very. It's ingrained in Black culture and ingrained in Black history. I'm not saying that it's not. There's so much about who I am, my belief system, that came from the church. You know?
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right. Thank you guys for the continued support of the Super Chats. I absolutely adore your support. Thank you very, very much. We have to do the work. We absolutely have to do the work. We don't need to be going outside for the help when we got the tools and resources. How do you think you get a fucking Black Wall Street without the tools and resources? Of course, my good brother, I got it for you.
Acknowledge me.
Eric Jordan with the $2. I appreciate it. And he's right back at it with the nickel, supporting black male media. Yeah, he got 5 on it. I appreciate it. And Paid for Excellence podcast, my brother Drew. Drew, I'm gonna beat. I'm coming in November, bro. I'm coming. I'm doing the work. I'm getting it in. I'm gonna be looking good. All that good stuff. I'm coming. Drew with the $2 support. I appreciate it, brother. And those of you who donated them $2, we can't forget about it.
These last $2.
So yes, when we are out here. I don't know if I can completely, I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't know. Let me think about this for a second. I'm not so sure I can fully blame, Jim Crow Joe Biden, President Jim Crow Joe Biden. I don't know if I can blame him totally for the crime bill. I'm not sure if I could blame Bill Clinton. I mean, we've been blaming it on we blamed it on Jim Crow. We blamed it on Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe. You ain't black if you don't vote for me, Joe. Bill Clinton. Who else we gonna blame the crime bill on? The police departments, or you can blame it on the rain. We asked for the help, so be careful. We need to be careful. We need to be careful who we are asking help for, especially when we go to the system to help. They don't understand our struggles, and we got to figure out a way to help ourselves. The 1996 crime bill, while I believe when the church started lobbying for something to be done, I believe it was done in good faith. But we placed too much faith in the damn system when the system has never proven to have our best interest at heart. And I'm gearing up to talk about this whole black conservative shit too. Lining up with folk who don't have your best interest at heart. All right, y'all. We're going to put a pause on that. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about a few things that have happened over the course of the Black History Month, over the course of February. We've had some pretty fucking embarrassing shit happen out here during Black History Month. One of the most embarrassing things I think happened was the goddamn fight between Mike Epps and Shannon Sharp. Yes, Anthony, Gangs of New York. That was the name of the movie. Absolutely. Gangs of New York. Y'all go watch that shit. We made Zaddy our king. Oh, Take Heed said this. Okay. Take Heed said, we made Zaddy our king in the black community. Absolutely. Especially our women, when they get mad at us, the first thing that they do is they go running to Zaddy for his help. And then when they put your brother down, then you want to be like, oh, no, I can't believe you killed him. But you called him on him. I mean, come on now. But I'm going to cover a couple of embarrassing things that have happened to us during Black History Month. One of those things, we saw two 50-year-old Negroes threaten to pull up on each other. Two 50-year-old well-to-do Negroes want to get into a world war. Look, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to let y'all listen to it.
He's going to attack Cat, that nigga there. That nigga Shannon Sharp called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interview. So you can sit across from me and look at my balls. I'll sit down, nigga. I thought he was going to attack Cat, that nigga there. The nigga is called Shay Shay. The nigga's telling you. Put a wig on that nigga, tell me if that ain't motherfucking Medea's sister, nigga.
Been seated in the chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who you talking about, but I'm with you.
Hold on, before Shannon Sharp get going, why are we so comfortable
Nigga, say my name again, and I'm gonna release the DMs because you're lying.
Yeah.
You said I reached out to you to come on Club Shay Shay, and you a mofo lie. Now, when I see you, I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see.
First of all, Shannon Sharp, it ain't mofo lie. It's you a motherfucking lie, man. Say it with your chest.
If you about that,
okay,
I'm gonna see if you want to say what you've been saying on trying to get some jokes because you got mad because Cat Williams did what he did. Now, when I see you, I'm gonna see if you really about that.
Yeah, and when I see you,
no.
I'm
gonna see if him talking all that.
Yeah,
when it one of them tight ass leather pants trying to be funny.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna see if you're about that.
Yeah,
say my name again. Now be
be
like Destiny's Child and talk about say my name, and I got something for your ass.
Okay, I'm lost, but I'm with you. And whoever you talking about it, we go. What? Yeah, I'm with you.
Like I said, first of all, them saying I'm gay and this and that, it ain't affecting my bottom line. Now, if it'll start to affect my bottom line, then I'm gonna make you put your cards on the table.
Yeah. It ain't gonna be no flush either. I'm
gonna make you put your cards on the table. But that don't bother me. It's that you lied and you didn't have to. Say your little joke, get your little laugh off, have fun, but just don't.
It's like we can't do nothing in decent and in order. We gotta be some niggas everywhere we go. I'm not so sure. I mean, to a degree, I don't blame Shannon Sharp for responding the way he responded. I would prefer, let me tell you something. I was on the live stream. I was on Black Man Unfiltered a couple weeks ago, and I completely came unglued over this dude. And I'm not gonna sit there and say that I'm gonna do or handle shit right all the time. None of us are gonna handle stuff right all the time. Some of us, we all have that moment where we wish we can get it back, or we let somebody get us off of our normal square. But I wish Shannon Sharp wouldn't have. I got other issues with Shannon Sharp, not and none of which do I care about if the motherfucker gay or not. But I'm just talking about we are very comfortable. Negroes are very comfortable with disrespecting one another and be the first one hollering and crying about respect when somebody do it to you. And then we sitting up here with 250-something-year-old men out here over some bullshit talking about they gonna pull up on each other. Shannon Sharp talking about, when I see you, I'm gonna see if you really about that. And then fucking Mike Epps talking about, nigga, I got that thing. I do that pew pew. You won't do a motherfucking thing. You an old ass dude. That panel, I'm embarrassed about. Even though I put it up on my stream, I put it up on my stream because even the best of us can lose our shit. And ain't nobody saying we're perfect. But we got to be a little bit better with this, especially the volume of disrespect we throw at each other. It is unreal. It is unreal and unprecedented. We out here whining and bitching about what Zaddy doing to us, what the job doing to us, but we ain't got no problem fucking each other over like this. None. I be trying to click start.
Lie and said I said something when I didn't. And you know who you are, mofo. Yeah. I'm calling you a mofo. Now, when I see you, boy, I promise you, I'm going to pull up.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up and I'm going to see if you about that. Because I'm about it with you.
Me too. As soon as I get off probation.
Y'all know, I don't, like I said, I stay to myself, Ocho. Anybody tell you, I said it. I said, when people say, man, that's not like Shannon, that's exactly who Shannon was. I let my guard down.
Right.
Now, wait a minute. Now, I know Shay, I don't know what grown-ass man got a name named Shay, but I know this grown man is not mad at me. So many people talk crazy about you. They was on Saturday Night Live talking about you, imitating you, but now you want to fight me? Now, I'm not going to lie. I did DM you to get on the show. But I DM'd you to get on the show because you brought my name up when you were sitting there with Kat. And you was trying to get him to talk crazy about me, but he didn't. Okay? Now, second of all, talking about pulling up on me. You're going to be an all-star. I'm going to be at the all-star in my hometown. And I'm going to see you. All right? I'm going to see you, brother. And I'm just letting you know, I don't be doing no fighting lately. I don't do no fighting. So, you know, there's only one other option. If you don't fight, you do blank. And Ocho, you shut up and go get some eyebrows. You looking like a whole milk dud sitting there agitating. We watched the white boy kick your ass on TV. So you shut up. And Shay, you did look like Madea sitting there. You was looking zesty. I'm not saying you gay, but you was looking zesty. You look like Big Frida sitting there. You need to take them tight ass shirts off with the muscles. And that's it. Go check out my...
I mean, you calling him gay and zesty and all. Ain't zesty and gay the same damn thing? I don't know, because I'm not into all of this shit, so I don't know what the fucking lingo is, but ain't zesty and gay to say? And let me ask you something as a dude, why are you looking that damn judgmental at another fucking man's attire? Why are you caring about his fucking shirt and how it look on him? To me, you so obsessed over how another man's shirt fits him? Really? And you want to call him zesty? You want to call him zesty? So, I guess when I was growing up, the term was suspect. Nigga, you sound a little suspect to me.
Special February the 20th on Netflix. February 20th on Netflix is called I'm Ready to Sell Out. Because being a real dude ain't making no money right now.
Now, Humble Soul was good, man. We checking back in. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already connected with us. Have some quick news to report on this whole Shannon Sharp, Mike Epps situation, man. You know, it's been a little back and forth, you know, and
so this whole entire month of February, Shannon Sharp, his Club Shay Shay, his nightcap has been just some what you ladies call it, tea for your ass, you know. It's been nothing but tea. And people haven't smoked for Shannon because Shannon out here is doing what they wish that they could do. Black History Month. More niggas doing nigga shit, fighting over bullshit. Fighting over some bullshit. You know what else happened this month? The bullshit with Monique. Now, I saw a couple days ago all over that people getting all up in arms about Monique saying fuck that nigga to her son. So we got two old dudes threatening to fight, which is two 50-something-year-old men. One got two hip replacements. The other one with dental implants. No shout out to the dental implants. I'm talking about Mike Epps. And it's something they're talking about. I don't even know what they're talking about. This is just, it's embarrassing. That's what the fuck it is. It's just embarrassing. And so we got Monique out here and her son fist fighting through social media. When I say fist fight, I don't mean literally fist fighting. What did you say, Blaze? If you really want to see about someone, you won't announce that you're about to pull up. You just do stupid shit. Yeah. Let's look at Monique.
Here we go again, right? Hi, I'm Shalon. I'm gonna jump right into it. I guess the intelligent thing to do when assuming that your son is having a mental episode is to post personal screenshots of text messages that are 3 years old in an attempt to validate a false narrative as if they are some type of receipt. You also invaded the privacy of my daughter's grandparents by posting your receipts. Neither of you should never speak on mental health again if you thought that that idea was a good one. As a person who lives with mental health issues, let me be the first to educate you that there are individuals who have taken their lives, harmed, and also taken the lives of others for doing the very thing that you so proudly did and your fan base pats you on the back for, which is very telling to how strangers will buy into your toxicity. Picking up the phone to check on your son that you believe is having a mental episode to make sure that he is okay, while also making sure that your granddaughter is safe, is too much to ask, I guess. For those wondering, I have gone to therapy on several different occasions, and that is not something that I will ever be ashamed of. I have even gone to therapy with my mother on several occasions. But for those who know how efficient therapy only works when both people...
Look. Maybe you need to go back to fucking therapy. Maybe you need to go back to therapy. Because coming out here and airing your grievances about your mama doesn't seem like somebody who's excuse me, done a lot of the work. Now, I defended Monique in regards to what went down with her and Oprah and Tyler and stuff like that. I defended that. And I have the ability to compartmentalize stuff. So you can be right in one issue and be wrong in another issue. And Monique and her sorry ass son are both wrong here. These are both adults, and they're sitting out here, warring out here on social media like they're disgruntled lovers. I know that's a bad imagery because they're mother and son, but this is ridiculous. You the one sitting up here talking about you going to therapy, went to therapy, did therapy. Then if you did the work, you should not be doing this. Last year, I got a phone call last year from somebody who ran into my mother in a bar. And this person simply said, "Hey, how's TJ doing?" And my mother went on a rant of epic proportions, apparently, about me. The person called, told me, and I said, she has the right to say what she wants to say. And that was the end of that for me. I'm not going to sit out here. My mother's gotten on Facebook and said stuff about me. I do not respond. I do not engage. I'm not doing none of that. You are free to do what you want. You are free to say what you want. It takes you. I have this saying, you do not have to show up to every fight that you are invited to. There's no obligation to show up to every fight you are invited to. But both Monique and her son got long-standing issues. Somebody's going to have to disengage. This is beyond sad. This is beyond embarrassing. This is just shameful on a whole lot of levels. And I know sometimes, you know, we get into this thing about, oh, you know, one person is more responsible than the other. Maybe so. But somebody in this situation has to be a grown-up. Has to be a grown-up. All right, shout out to Lady Nova. How you doing for the double nickel? And of course, you know what we do for the double. I mean, no, not for the double nickel, just for the nickel. You know what we do for the nickel. Thank you, my RBN the chat family. Greetings. Thank you again, you know, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I did see it. I just, you know, by the time I got through the other ones, I was going to get back to it. So I did see it. Let's finish up seeing what he got to say, and then they're going to roll into what Monique had to say.
Are being open. My mother was still in her 15-year-old mentality phase during that time, so I guess I understand why she did not know how to be open with me during our sessions. When a person becomes accustomed to being a victim, and others get used to seeing them as one, they live their lives in a state of internalization, meaning you consistently receive another's approach as an attack. Constantly putting you under the illusion that you need to always be on the defense, even in situations where there is no actual attack, just an acknowledgement of things already said by you. One should not feel attacked by an acknowledgement of the words that they stand on. You eventually become a passive aggressor. To address the men that had something to say in regards to men don't do what I'm doing, let me be very clear. How I man is none of your business. What and how I feed my family has no place on your plate. For every person that stated I should not have come to the internet, I would just like to ask, what do Club Shay Shay, the articles about my mother and I's relationship, the interviews about our relationship, and Instagram all have in common? Well, if you are competent, the internet. Furthermore, I did not expose my mother, nor did I badmouth my mother. I simply provided context to what was already being said.
Why? Why did you feel the need to do it? That's what I want to know. Other than the fact that you wanted to You want to make sure that people have more ammunition, that those who do not like or support your mother, you wanted them to have additional ammunition in the form of you, the person she birthed. That's what you really wanted. If I'm wrong, y'all tell me in the chat I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, if I'm seeing this wrong, let me know.
About me, while also explaining why I don't speak to them directly. The reason those that feel negatively about what I said are just having a hard time differentiating between Nikki Parker and Monique. Please stop with the cornball idea that a celebrity can talk about a family member on the internet for years, but God forbid said family member says any one thing, and you all are outside with tiki torches and pitchforks defending not the actual person, but the idea of a person. These people are in an industry that is efficient at making money off of what is pretend. So in essence, you are defending a character. I love my mother, and it took the birth of my daughter to help me begin to understand.
Did this nigga say I love my mama? Oh, we can really tell.
And the value of a mother. I am very proud of my mother, though, and I'm proud of the things that she has accomplished and will go on to accomplish in the future. My mother's bad, man. I watched that woman go from Baltimore to the moon. That drive is also in my daughter's blood. Not only is she still my mother, she's also a part of history, and I would be doing my daughter a disservice by not telling her about who my mother is and was. But since those messages that you posted were used as some type of a receipt to validate your false narrative, I figured I would take some time to gather up my receipts to validate my decision to move forward with my life without my mother in it. I do want to thank you all for listening for the now final time that I will ever
do anybody believe this is going to be the final time? I do not. I do not. I think if Monique come out and say something else again, he'll be all over this shit again.
Address this topic, and I will leave you with my receipts.
I apologize if I've done something wrong, but I ain't no bitch that's gonna back up from a motherfucking problem. I'ma walk straight to that motherfucker and I'ma deal with that shit. So today I'm coming to the airport in Newark, New Jersey. It's the realest niggas I've ever met from Newark, New Jersey. I'm coming to that motherfucking airport and I done just seen this motherfucking TikTok of my goddamn son. Had I known that nigga was gonna do a TikTok the day I brought him home, I'm gonna let y'all take that one. And when you see your child that you fuck for, I fuck for that nigga, not another bitch, it was me. And you see your motherfucking child go on a goddamn internet and tell people all the fuck that you're not. Fuck that and you just supposed to take that shit in stride. And I'm taking that shit in stride. And I'm walking through the motherfucking Newark airport, and this elderly woman comes up to me. She said, Monique. I said, ma'am. Because I'm a respectful bitch, baby. I'm a respect this bitch. She old. She said, let me talk to you for a minute. So I had prepared myself for this old woman to tell me how fucked up I was. I prepared myself to be respectful, but to check a bitch if I had to. I prepared myself. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I want to tell you something. I said, ma'am. She said, fuck that nigga. I said, oh, bitch, fuck that nigga. That part. And when the elderly people tell you, fuck that nigga, you ain't fuck that nigga. She said, you've been taking care of that nigga all his motherfucking life. She said, Monique, I'm 80 years old, and I got a son 60 years old. And every time that nigga don't get what he want, he still tell me how fucked up I was when he was 10 years old. Fuck that nigga. Fuck them kids, bitch. Word.
Yo, Monique terrible, bruh. She is a goddamn fool.
My goodness. here's one thing that I think a lot of people need to come to terms when they got all this pent up whatever smoke for their parents. At what point do you become responsible for your own life and your own outcome? If you can't get on page where you can have an adult relationship with your parents, then it is what it is. And, it might be hurtful and shit, but it is what it is. Monique? Fuck that nigga. That's your son. I mean, you act like that nigga Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer's mama didn't say fuck that nigga, and Jeffrey Dahmer's son killed 19 people. Jeffrey Dahmer's son, Jeffrey Dahmer's mother's son, the mother of Jeffrey Dahmer killed 19 people. And his mother was like, didn't say, go fuck that nigga. Or whatever the equivalent is white folks say to each other. I don't know. I understand your son, for whatever reason, he not falling in the line or the behavior pattern that you wish he would to satisfy your whatever it is you need to get satisfied to embrace him. But I'm telling you, from experience, a mother has the ability to breathe life into her child or breathe death into her child. And what the fuck do you think happens when you say, fuck that nigga, and you birthed him? For real. Shea Baylor, Baylay. Totally, if you can't get a proper relationship with your parents, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to move on with your life. And that's that and that's just meant so much to me. I appreciate that. It is. And I'm not saying that is easy to do. I'm talking to people who will listen. I'm talking from experience. You're going to have to move on. You're going to have to accept it is what it is. I know firsthand on what it's like to have a mother basically say what Monique said. Actually, my mama said worse. At some point, you don't have to trade barbs with your mother. Let her continue to do that. That shit don't look good on her. You don't need to say anything. Stay silent. And I know the urge. I know the urge. I understand the urge to want to set this record straight. I'm telling you, I have been completely and utterly silent. I don't go into details, even when I try to reference it here. But when she's on social media or when she runs into people, I'm talking about my mother, with people that I know, and she rages out, when I get word back from my siblings, I say nothing. Let her do what she do. She's the one that's got to live with the fact that she destroyed her relationship. Talking about my mother, has to live with the fact that she destroyed her relationship with her son, her oldest son, her first. So I'm talking, I mean, he'll never probably see this. Monique's son. I understand what that will do to you when you hear your mama say, fuck that nigga. And she did it to 3,000, 4,000 people in a building. She did it in front of the world. She told the world. This woman told the world what she thought of her son. If you think this makes her look good, it doesn't. If you guys go back and listen to the audio, there's a chick in there that she's in there big up and Monique. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, that right there. This shit is wild. Black History Month. Black History Month. Yeah, take heed. I remember you saying that on one of the live streams. Absolutely. You know? I'm a bit speechless over this shit. You know, because I understand the need for Monique's son. I understand the need for it. But I'm very critical of him because I know what he needs to do. That's why I'm critical of him, because I know what he needs to do. I know what he needs to do because I've been there. I've been there. One more fucked up thing for Black History Month that happened this month. Lord have mercy. I don't know if Mashawn is still in the building, but we got a good mama here. We got a good mama here. Let's talk about this good mama.
Now to a breaking news update. A Memphis mother has been arrested and charged after posting several photos online of her daughter waxing adults. Jasmine Moss is now facing a misdemeanor charge for child abuse and neglect. WREG's Jarita Patterson has more on a story that has garnered national attention.
It was a social media post last week igniting an online firestorm. A Memphis mother releasing photos showing her 5-year-old daughter helping to wax dozens of clients. In one of the pictures, which we are not showing, there is a little girl detectives describe as applying hot wax to the private area of an adult. Now it is the photo of the mother seen here in her mugshot making its rounds. Investigators say what happened at this Glenbrook Street home, which doubles as a place of business, is why Jasmine Moss is charged with child abuse and neglect.
That's not what we do here in Westwood.
With there being a child involved, many shied away from our camera, but there's no avoiding what detectives say happened that landed Moss in lockup on the eve of her birthday. There are reminders this is a home where children live, a kid's scooter, stickers decorating the front windows, and there's this sign, letting those passing by know children are cared for.
No, we can't have 5-year-old kids doing stuff like that.
Although many neighbors were hesitant about speaking publicly, many of you were not. We have learned dozens of complaints were made concerning the woman who operates her business out of her home, but she is now calling Jail East home after she was arrested and charged. While we were at Moss's home, a woman wearing what appears to be a city or county badge stopped by before continuing on to another nearby house. Property records show it's owned by those with the same last name, Moss. For now, this Memphis mother remains in lockup following a post that ruffled feathers. In Southwest Memphis, Jarita Patterson, WREG. News Channel 3.
All right, a story that's turning heads. And Jasmine Moss is scheduled to face a judge tomorrow morning. In the meantime, a joint investigation has been launched by Memphis Police and the Department of Children's Services.
I really wish I had a whole lot to say about this, but I don't, because just when I don't think I can get shocked by anything, leave it up to good mamas to blow my wig back. Who in their fucking right mind thinks it's okay for a 5-year? Well, fuck that. Who are these people who let that girl do that to them? Has anybody asked that question? Who is it? Who them women that went there to get this service done? How in the hell did these ladies? I don't know what to say about this. But I guarantee you there are people out here defending this crap. Defending this crap. Do we know what they... Like, I'm appalled at the mother, but these motherfucking women that lined up to let this 5-year-old girl do, they need to be prosecuted just as well as the mother. This is crazy. These grown-ass women allowed this 5-year-old girl to give them a bikini wax. That's crazy to me. This is insane to me. This is crazy. This is craziness on a whole nother level. The church, and I'm not blaming the church, but the influence it's gone.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the...
All right, shout out to JT from What We Know podcast and the Black Man Unfiltered, brother with the double nickel. Salute to my brother. What's up going on? What's going on, brother? Thank you for I keep saying the double nickel. That's because I'm hoping for the double nickel. But shout out for the 5 spot, brother. I really appreciate it. And then my good brother, Coon Lee in the building, who's been active in the chat, trying to get these people to get these damn likes up, and they won't do it. But, you know, let them be what let be. At least they're here to a degree, you know, whoever these people are watching. You know, I found out, or I've been told, and I don't think I'm that, I've been told, and I don't know how true this is, I've been told that people watch me and take stuff from my stream and use it as their own. I've seen it. They don't take my clips, they don't whatever, but I've seen me do streams on certain subjects in certain ways, and I've seen it show up other places. So, you know, let it be what it be. You know, I'm just a little old, small little channel that go live once a week and try to have some kind of conversation. I'd love to have some fun, which I think I'm going to do sooner or later. Coolly, it's sad when a mother starts relating her child to another human being. Starts relating, a child to another human being, not like she birthed him. It is common in the Black community, and it's painful. Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those of you who sent out the nickel, you know what we're doing. All right, shout out, y'all. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. I really do. You know, I really would like to say a whole lot more on this one, but I think if I go any further with this fucking dumpster fire of a mother having her 5-year-old girl wax the pussies of other grown-ass women, is I probably get booted and banned off of YouTube. For real. All right. Let's get to one more thing for the Black history. Crack is whack. Let me delete that. Remove from the studio. I got one more thing I want to get to. Because Black History Month, we talked a little bit about the crime bill, the church related to the crime bill, the history of the church in the Black community. There's one more thing that I want to talk about when I talk about us going out of our way to invite the government in to come in and solve our problems, as if the government is something that we should be trusting fully to do right by us. I mentioned a couple streams ago, I mentioned about the Philadelphia Police Department bombing a Black community. A lot of people were surprised that that even happened. So I actually brought up the news story from 1985 or something like that, when the fucking Philadelphia Police Department decided, I'm going to just blow these motherfuckers up. Here we go.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Today marks the 30th anniversary of a massive police operation in Philadelphia that culminated in the helicopter bombing of the headquarters of a radical group known as MOVE. The fire from the attack incinerated 6 adults and 5 children and destroyed 65 homes. Despite 2 grand jury investigations and a commission finding the top officials were grossly negligent, no one from city government was criminally charged. Here is how the bombing was initially reported in Philadelphia on WCAU radio.
I've just been advised that we have new videotape of the episode that apparently ended, we think ended, the MOVE situation tonight, the dropping of an incendiary device. And let's take a careful look at this. 5:27 p.m. State Police helicopter drops it. There is the explosion. As you can see, a very dramatic explosion that occurs 30 seconds and really rips into the MOVE compound. There you see the bunker, which soon will go up in flames. And that was the explosion close up. Now, if there's anybody there, standing there, it's obvious they couldn't survive that explosion.
That was WCAU TV, actually. We saw some video there. MOVE was a Philadelphia-based radical movement dedicated to Black liberation and a back-to-nature lifestyle. It was founded by John Africa, and all its members took on the surname Africa. In 2010, Ramona Africa, the sole adult survivor of the attack, told Democracy Now! What happened as the bomb was dropped on her house.
In terms of the bomb,
you notice every time Black folk want to do something for themselves or want to bring awareness to to be self-sufficient, they're called radicals. Notice that.
After being attacked the way we were, first with 4 deluge hoses by the fire department, and then tons of tear gas, and then being shot at, the police admit to shooting over 10,000 rounds of bullets at us in the first 90 minutes. There was a lull. You know, it was quiet for a little bit. And then, without any warning at all, 2 members of the Philadelphia Police Department's bomb squad got in a Pennsylvania State Police helicopter and flew over our home and dropped a satchel containing C4, a powerful military explosive that
It's a fucking bomb. It's a fucking bomb. They bombed a fucking Black neighborhood.
Municipal police department has. They had to get it from the federal government, from the FBI. And without any announcement or warning or anything, they dropped that bomb on the roof of our home.
That was Ramona Africa, the sole adult survivor of the attack on MOVE 30 years ago today. Today, a memorial will take
Oh, my God.
Take place at the site of the bombing on Osage Avenue. Well, for more, we're joined in Philadelphia by Lynn Washington, award-winning journalist, former columnist for the Philadelphia Tribune, who's covered MOVE since 1975. He teaches journalism at Temple University. Both he and Juan were there that day covering MOVE, the MOVE bombing for the Philadelphia Daily News. We welcome you back to Democracy Now!, Lynn. Talk about that day, and Juan, too, your memories.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Juan. The one word that I would use to describe that day is surreal. To have witnessed police firing 10,000 bullets within a 90-minute period. The bullets were so intense that they were raining from the sky like hail. And then later in the afternoon to see a bomb dropped on a house occupied by children And then the very callous decision of the authorities to let the fire burn was just unreal. It's a sight and a memory that I can't get out of my mind.
Well, Lynn, I remember it was a Mother's Day, 1985, and we were out there most of the day and saw that helicopter suddenly hover over the house and drop something. And I remember saying to you at the time, what's going on, until the explosion occurred. But the most fascinating thing, as you said, most people are not aware, is how long before, after the bomb dropped, before the firefighters even attempted to douse the flames that erupted.
It was almost an hour because we were sitting there on Cobbs Creek Parkway, and you and I were both talking, and actually talking to some of the firefighters as to why they weren't doing it. And the firefighters didn't know. What they were told was to not fight the fire, which is unbelievable. And we could watch, or actually we saw, the fire go from what looked like the beginning of a backyard barbecue grill fire to a blazing inferno. And we just literally watched it jump across the roof lines and also across the street. So by the time that the decision was finally made to fight the fire, it was a blazing inferno, and it was totally out of control.
And you know, most people, when you tell them that a police department dropped, the United States government in the form of the police department dropped a bomb on a fucking black neighborhood, most people don't believe it. Most people, do you not know that most people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, do not know about the torching and burning of and the murdering of the black residents for Black Wall Street? You do anything you want to us, goes away. Not one single official was arrested, fired, written up, anything about them murdering all of those people, including, I think it was 11 or 12 children. They just straight up murdered them in broad daylight. The United States is not supposed to take military action against its own citizens, like using military-grade weaponry against their own citizens. But you see what happened in 1985. They fucking bombed a black neighborhood. You saw what happened here in St. Louis when Mike Brown was killed and they were out there protesting. They brought out fucking tanks and shit. But you're not supposed to use military tactics against your citizens. Black people, you're not fucking citizens of the United States of America. I know that's an extremist, what some would consider an extremist viewpoint. They will absolutely drop another bomb on a fucking black community when they see fit. And we are littered throughout our history in this country of them doing shit to us that's not. This is why when I brought up earlier in the broadcast or earlier in the live stream about the church running to the government for help to solve our own problems, you're running to a group of individuals who do not have your best interest at heart. I guess the question becomes, then who do we run to? Who do we run to? And my solution is we do what everybody else do. But then, which is you help your fucking self. But for us, because we're so damn fragmented, we do not have intact traditional families. You got women, and if they got a man in the house, it's a man who's not a father to those children. Our women have an expectation that the man that they got in their house should have the same level of fidelity to those kids as if they were his. That's crazy. But that's the expectation of our women. They don't have the expectation of keeping the man that actually popped those children in there, or selecting quality level men that will stay and keep them. So how can our community, our women, our children be protected when the source people that's supposed to protect them ain't even there? We're fucked up. And we got this shit backwards. We do everything backwards. And we sit around here talking about what can't happen. And most of us on the street, we were alive in 1985. I was a child. I was a young kid in 1985. I was a very young kid in 1985. But yes, somebody put Rosewood in there. You had Tulsa. You know, you just all over the place. All over the place.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
Yep, finally, because I kept saying double nickel, here's the double nickel. I appreciate that. I really do.
Talk about who was in government, Juan, at the time. Who was the police commissioner? Who was the mayor? How did this bombing take place? The police bombed not just the Move House, ended up burning down 2 blocks, city blocks in Philadelphia.
Because
they burnt down 2 city blocks because the police would not let the firefighters come in and fight the fire and put out the fires. Do not think in 2024 that they won't do this shit again and get away with it.
Didn't fight the fire, and it spread and destroyed the entire, square block area. But obviously, the mayor at the time, Lynn, was Wilson Good, the first African American mayor of the city, and the commission report later indicated that Good really wasn't in control of the situation. Was it? It was the police commissioner and the fire commissioner.
So it was Rizzo entirely?
No, it wasn't Rizzo. It was who was the police commissioner? It's been so long ago, I've forgotten.
The police commissioner the police commissioner at the time was a guy named Gregor Sambor, and Mayor Good appointed him because they were trying to purge.
I could be wrong, and I need to go, and I almost hesitate to say this, but I actually think that the police commissioner was black. I think I remember seeing in some other clip that motherfucker was black who authorized this shit. Somebody do the research, let me know, and if he wasn't, I'll correct it. But if I'm not mistaken, the fucking police officer, the commissioner who authorized this shit was a brother.
The department in some way of the influence of Frank Rizzo, who had been the police commissioner and then the mayor during the 70s when police brutality reached epidemic levels in Philadelphia. One of the things that gets lost in all of this is that, yes, there was this horrific bombing in the middle of May 13th, the day after Mother's Day in 1985. But actually a few days before the bombing, Sambor had ordered an anti-drug sweep that ended up arresting hundreds of people who were innocent, had nothing to do with drugs. The city ended up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to settle that. And 2 weeks later, there was a dragnet in a Hispanic neighborhood where they were arresting people from 6 to 65 years old in an investigation involving the death of a police officer. And that death was initially reported as a domestic dispute between a police officer, another police officer, and a policewoman who was married to one of the police officers.
I want to go back to Ramona Africa, the sole adult survivor of the attack, describing what happened after the bomb was dropped on her house.
And without any announcement or warning or anything, they dropped that bomb on the roof of our home.
Thanks, Conley. Thank you.
Now, at that point, we didn't know exactly what they had done. We heard the loud explosion. The house kind of shook, but it never entered my mind that they dropped a bomb on us. But the bomb did, in fact, ignite a fire. And not long after that, it got very, very hot in the house, and the smoke was getting thicker. At first, we thought it was tear gas. But as it got thicker, it became clear that this wasn't tear gas, that this was something else. And then we could hear the trees outside of our house crackling and realized that our home was on fire. And we immediately tried to get our children, our animals, our dogs and cats, and ourselves out of that blazing inferno.
So let's recap. Let's recap before we get up out of here. Black History Month. We got the good, the bad, and the nigga shit in Black History Month. We got the Black church who was a vital part of Black development in this country, ushered us out of slavery into Reconstruction, out of Reconstruction, was instrumental in, believe it or not, in the implementation of the crime bill. We've had fights throughout this month, ugly fights, embarrassing things, bad behaviors, Black History Month. Some of the worst things I've seen from us has happened this month. The amount of footage and video and stories that are out here about our behavior, especially during Black History Month, has been atrocious. And we're the first ones to complain. We will be the first ones to complain about our mistreatment, about our outcomes, and all of that. We'll be the first ones. I got a final thought, and I'm going to actually let Messy Michonne give the final thought. And this is about, I'm dubbing this final thought the product of the lack of outcomes. We complain about our outcomes, but we put in shit and expect platinum and gold back from shit input for our outcomes. I don't know. Final thoughts from Messy Michonne.
And they family, so you think it's just the man, so he don't have a mama, he don't have a granny, he don't have an auntie, none of them they're never going to see the kid, right? That whole other Black side of the family ain't never going to see the kid. This is bullshit. This is the same fucking excuse from then.
This is from her stream last week, and I think the rant that Michonne went on is timeless. So we're going to listen to this, and then we're going to get up out of here.
Now, to blame somebody else for your fucked up life and your fucking problems. Come on now, mad, because I'm sick of this. You got all this bark, no fucking bite. You take more of your own down than anybody else. White man sat right there. I don't care what y'all say. That man is white. And use the N-word with the E-fucking-R, and y'all didn't say shit. You didn't blink a fucking eye. You ain't look side-eye. But as soon as a fucking white girl talk, you got something to say, you're the fucking racist. And y'all that's gonna say, Black people can't be racist. Fuck you too. I'm tired of that shit. I'm sick of it. Black people can't be racist. You're the most racist out here. And you think that you sitting up here continuing to say that everything is racist is going to get people to back the fuck away from you. Good luck. Good luck with that. Because when Donald fucking Trump becomes president, good luck with that. Because all this bullshit is going away. So while you wasting $10,000 on going to fucking Miami, or you wasting your money in the fucking gambling place, and now one of your kids ain't here, and two of the other kids is going to fucking jail, we do not care. I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got no money for you. You fucking up your own damn life. That's on you. Ain't nobody else's fault. That's your choice. I'm tired of people sitting up here acting like it's somebody else's fault that your life is fucked up. You are a grown fucking adult. You can figure out how to get out here and take all that pleasure. Then turn around, talk about the nigga that you set up there and fucked. Shout out to TLA, and then try to act like it's somebody else's fault. He was who he was beforehand. You cannot tell me that every single fucking time that y'all get pregnant by a bum that you didn't know it. Half of you biatches on Daggone Kendra G's show. Come on now, that damn woman, 3 kids, didn't even want to talk about the 3rd damn kid. What is her name? Veronica, 3 kids, didn't even want to talk about it. Bitch, why are you mad that you got 3 kids? Why wouldn't you talk about it? Your reasoning sucks. You won't even accept accountability when you are on camera lying. You are on camera lying and you still gonna act like you ain't doing nothing wrong. That's why you don't have any men, because y'all treat people like shit. It's not just the ninjas, child. You treat everybody like shit, especially when they don't agree with you. Fuck you. I can have my own thoughts and I will continue to have my own thoughts. The only people I got to worry about on this damn app is fucking YouTube. And if they okay with it, that's all that matters. And yes, again, YouTube, I'm a black woman. This stupid argument is the same shit over and over and over. It's tiresome. For me anyway. Especially when they're saying the same shit. And then they side, what is it? What am I trying to say? Just trying to be ignorant from the side to these people like we don't hear it. Just being nasty for nastiness purposes. You think maybe that's why you got a problem, because all you know how to do is be nasty most of the time? I'm just trying to understand when the hell it is that you're going to be happy. You don't like it in the United States. You don't like it wherever the hell it is that you live. Everybody is racist. Everyone is against you. Now there's black women depression. Now the diet don't work the same. What is positive in your life? Why are you even here? Why be here? Why be here? Nothing seems to work out. Nothing is positive. Nothing is good. And yet here you are trying to think you're going to force somebody else to do something? You cannot make anyone do anything. You can't even make your damn kids shut the fuck up and be quiet in school. But you think you're going to tell a grown person what to do? You're looking half damn crazy. Shout out to Dab D.H. Harris. Thank you so much, hon. Appreciate you. He said, I'm sorry, but does that B-dub and the black and gray look like... Stop it. I think I read that one. Shout out to you, hon. Shout out to Kofa. Thank you so much, hon. I appreciate you. He said, GD, Sister Messy. You took one of those Kofa pills. When will you accept responsibility for your stupid life? It's your life. The woman sat up there talking about we got to fill out an application. Bitch, what? That sounds so dumb. Oh, we got to fill out an application. Goodbye. Shout out to RBN with the 5. Thank you, hon. He said, so what is this black culture talking about? You mean the 4 baby daddy tradition? Yeah, that woman with the Veronica with the 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, talking all that sugar honey iced tea, ma'am. You married a man that had 5 kids with 5 different women. You thought that was good? I thought black women didn't settle. All this non-settlement and all this settlement going on. Somebody lying. That's all I'm saying. Child.
About this. Yeah. My parents
and father. And
so those of you who don't understand what the rant is about, it's about responsibility. Blaming everybody for your shit, not taking accountability, putting in poor work, and expecting phenomenal outcomes. It's Black History. Something a month that we should be celebrating the excellence of ourselves. But it's hard pressed now to see a lot of excellence when you look around. And there are people out here who are trying. There are men who are trying to come, who are trying to take on the responsibilities of these ladies and their issues and what they and it's a fight, it's a slog. We find every fucking reason in the book not to get along with each other. And when things go haywire, we don't even have the Black church anymore to help us out. When things go haywire, we are out here as a black men are out here alone, and so are black women, because we refuse to cooperate with each other. And yet, February, we want to celebrate Black History Month. The people in Black History Month that we celebrate, they did what we were supposed to do. To a degree, we're a fucking disgrace right now. I don't know what the future holds. I'm out here in my little corner of the world trying to do my thing. I'm trying to do my thing in my real life. I'm trying to, do the best I can with what I have. I'm not perfect at it. I don't do it the right way all the time, but I'm trying. I'm making the effort. And I'm making the effort with people who are fighting me tooth and nail. It's exhausting. Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, this is what I'm made of. This is for the throne and the kingdom. The king's here, yelling freedom. Do or die, do it now if you believe it. You reap what you sow every season. Yeah, you kill what you eat when you feast it. Yeah, it's death before the sign and no treason. No, in a time of war, no retreat. Never lay down and die on my feet. I look the reaper in his eyes and won't blink. I'm the voice every time that I speak. It's like thunder when it strikes. I'm the king. I'm the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. I am the king. I am supreme. I am. I'm the king. You gotta keep going when you in the field. Yeah. Can't lose heart when it gets real. Yeah. Always push back, can't lose ground. Always stand up, never back down. Victory is key, victory is yours. Through the blood, sweat, and tears coming out your pores. Through the tears and the pain, cause you want more. Grind time, do it all until it pays off. I'm in a league of my own. I'm a king and I'm bad to the bone. Heavy in the game, made for the throne. I'm out of this world, I'm in my zone. I'm the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. I am the king. I am supreme. I am. I am. Like a frog. I'm the king. I am. I am. I am. I am the king. Yeah, I am king.